What's going on, guys? Biznix here. Today we're going to be talking about shotguns and why they're viable in multiplayer now or in the Dark Zone in general. So before I go any further, I just want you to know subscribing to my channel grants you daily Star Wars Battlefront, Doom, and Division videos. Also, if you ever want me to do something in particular, let me know. And finally, if you ever want to play with me, let me know and I'll be able to get my appropriate information to you. But without further ado, let's get into why shotguns are awesome. So essentially, you need to use Sentry's Call with this build, and I'm just going to show you. This is my build that I have going on right now, and obviously you're going to see this is the shotgun, this is the marksman rifle, and the pistol, and then we have this build going on. Now I'm going to explain each kind of stat, and then you're going to kind of make a decision based on what you think. Let me first talk about the shotgun. So when you're making this build, especially if you're going to plan on using it in PvP, which is viable, it's just a little bit harder, and I don't have the right like talents on my weapon to really use it effectively. I have decent talents, but not the best. So we're using a Marine Super 90, and you can actually get this blueprint, I believe, in the base of operations, which is great. That means you don't really have to look for it, and it's not one of the weekly ones. I would say though, the best shotgun you could probably use is the Black Market SASG-12S. It's probably the best. I just don't have very good talents on the ones that I have currently got. And I would use this one, however, it's really not that great. Yeah, it's just really not that great for a shotgun. It might be better for a submachine gun. But yeah, so let's look at the Marine Super 90. That's what I have. It has 56k damage per each shot, which is pretty good. And it most of the time goes over that every time. It has responsive, which is really good, and it's almost always active because you're never shooting at somebody with a shotgun more than 10 meters away. It has Swift, which is awesome because it's a shotgun and it's a slow reload time. And then Vicious, it has critical hit chances increased by 13% while at full health. Mainly this talent helps you only on that first shot when you catch your enemy off guard. So there's a good chance you can have a crit there. Now looking at our mods, I'll just show you real fast. These are ones that these are fairly commonplace. You're going to want these on your shotgun. 21% headshot damage, 7.5% critical hit damage or chance. You definitely want critical hit chance or critical hit damage when you're using a shotgun, because each one of the pellets that hits the enemy has the chance to hit a crit, so it's almost always a crit per shell, okay? The angled grip or red, whatever, it doesn't really matter. This is just for stability and initial bullet stability. I'm not entirely sure if this is the best thing you could be using, but I'm pretty sure it's pretty good. And then the heavy magazine spring, so this also has critical hit chance and 27.3 rate of fire. So basically you're using rate of fire only for PvP, and I guess you could be using it for PvE. It does really help, but if you're definitely using this for PvP, you need rate of fire on your shotgun, because you're going to be able to surprise the player quick enough, and they might actually run away just to how much damage you do to them, or you'll basically one-shot them. So it's pretty amazing. And I guess if you're using PvE, and you're only going for PvE, you kind of want to use this first wave M1A, because you can't really use a submachine gun because then you won't have any long range capabilities, so you need to use an M1A or just sniper. It's, you know, whatever is good with you. And this is the one I showed in my last video, so I'm not really going to go through it too much. It just has 171% headshot damage. Harmful, vicious, ferocious. It's decent, it's not the best. But I still think it's better than some of the snipers that I've found. So those are the shotguns, and those are the snipers that I would use in this build. But like I said, mainly this build is about shotguns. Now, when you're using the shotgun, the main reason why it's so good right now is the Sentry's Call. Now, if you remember, at patch 1.2, they kind of took the Sentry's Call away from submachine guns, so now it only works for semi-automatic weapons like snipers, shotguns, pistols. Yeah, that's about it. And it only works for those. But the fact that it still works for shotguns is kind of still kind of messed up, because it's still really, really good. I'll show you what I'm using, and you'll just understand that you can get all three of those marks on an enemy. If you know what I'm talking about with Sentry's Call, you can get all three marks in one shot, and then you're permanently doing 45% more damage, because most of the time fights don't last more than 15 seconds anyway, and you're always aiming for the head, so they're gonna renew themselves. But I'm going ahead of myself. Let's just start off with my chest piece. This is the one piece that I don't have a very viable piece to choose from, but it's Final Measure Vest, and I'm only using it because it has 2 mod slots and it has high armor. But there's no reason to, like, I could use anything here and it would probably work. I'm just using it because it has the 2 mod slots, really. Excuse me. And then also we have the gloves, the Savage gloves, which again is only here for the Savage trait or talent with the 14% against targets out of cover. And I also happen to have shotgun damage on here and health on kill, which is really good. Plus the 37% critical hit damage is great too. But now moving on to the main part of this build. Excuse me, I'm sorry, my voice is cracking. We have a Sentry's Call backpack, and this is pretty good. The one thing I have to say and stress about this is you're going to want this 6,500 for skill power. Unless you have your talents or abilities, whatever, your firearms, stamina, electronics, if they're stacked differently on your things than mine, then maybe you won't need this. But I know for my build, you definitely do need it. And that's really all I have to say about my backpack. The mask, you're obviously going to want some exotic damage resilience, but still 14.5% is not a lot, so yeah, I mean, we're really not even going to go there. But the whole reason why I'm using these Sentry Skull pieces is to get these set bonuses, and especially the last one, but we'll go over it once I'm done with all the pieces, just so you can see them all. Sentry Skull knee pads, this does have a mod slot. You can't really see it, but it's right there. Once again, you just kind of want to have your armor high enough so that you're negating or mitigating 75% damage. And this shock resist is really good with people that use shock turrets. And then finally, Sentry Skull holster. Unfortunately, do not have electronics here. You might not need the 6,000 on the 6,000. What's it called? Skill power on the backpack. If you do have electronics on your holster, so that's sort of what I'm talking about. So now let's just look at these set bonuses. You guys probably know what this is. It's been like this for months now. Headshot damage, which is great with shotguns because you're aiming for the head always. That's something I really need to stress. This damage to a leech is good for farming. It's not good for PvP at all. And then Sentry's Call, which is the best thing here. Headshots using semi-automatic weapons mark the enemy, increasing the damage inflicted on the target by 15% for a duration of 10 seconds each. The target can receive up to 3 marks. And like I was saying, when you shoot somebody, you can actually get all 3 marks in one shot, and you're permanently doing 45% more damage because, like I said, most fights don't last more than 10 seconds. Anyway, so this is an amazing, amazing trait with shotguns, and that's really the build. So, guys, I'm going to show you some gameplay, and then I'm going to go. So, before I leave, I just want you to know that if you thought this was helpful or something, then definitely leave a like, and remember to subscribe because I'll be doing more videos like these. But without further ado, I hope you enjoy this gameplay, and I'll see you guys in the next one.